Hello and welcome to everyone. This presentation is a personal journey through the Butch losses associated with a developing disabling condition. I'm not suggesting here that things are the same for everyone with a neurological disease or even all disabled butchers. This is just my story. So, my own butch identity first started to show as a kid. I was an outdoor football type with civil engineering projects on the beach and the playground. I was inspired by Tarzan. Way before sexuality was even anything that I was consciously aware of. I didn't want to fuck Jane or rescue her. I wanted to be Tarzan. Installing indoor plumbing in the treehouse and swinging through the trees on the vines with Cheetah. Well, next up came 70s black and white TV and a new obsession with Trampas from the Virginian, which was all leather accessories and ropes. At this point, a small 1.5-inch wide leather belt with a big brass buckle came my way, and I covered it on the back with an array of brass studs, the kind you have to poke a hole through the leather and then splay out the back like a split pin to fit. Well, after this creative adornment, the belt rarely left the waistband of my ladybird jeans, except on school days when I was more or less forced into a skirt. My father, with his customary accidental cruelty, pointed out that my belt was actually a dog collar. No, it's not, it's a belt, No, it's not. Look, there's a D-ring to attach a dog lead right there next to the buckle. Who knew at the time how much this would be indicative of some aspects of my future sexual identity, which have brought much creative and playful joy to myself and others. So, the first time that I noticed something was odd was when I was installing a central heating system at work. I dropped my work boots out of my hand as I walked across the room. Out of my right hand. 6 months later, following the onset of a bunch of other weird symptoms and mind-numbing fatigue, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Anyway, my right hand. 10 years later, with not much respite in between, another episode took the whole use of my right side. Not permanently so far. Some relief. But it was long enough to make me shit scared about the future and start having to scrape my self-esteem up off the floor. Now, I'm right-handed. I do hundreds of things with my right hand. Everything practical and quite a lot cerebral that gives me joy, self-esteem, creative and just routine expression of my butch identity starts with my right hand. I write with my right hand. I eat, cook, drink and fuck with my right hand. Now, there's other ways to eat, drink and fuck. I know. As my friend said to me, just get your strap on together and lie back and let them do the work. Yeah, I know. But I'm a butch dyke. It's really not the same. It really isn't. And I miss it. And it's not a choice. I'm not an especially negative person. But these are my losses. And I need to be able to feel that. Repressed grief is not healthy for me. So it's really all about getting a balance and brilliant communication. So, at this point, communication, self-esteem and independent accessibility all come together as key issues for me. People say to me, well, you know, if someone likes you, they'll see through your disability to your personality in 5 minutes, Janet. And I believe this is true. But what is necessary is that I have reasonably independent access to the kind of places where I can meet and interact long enough with good enough self-esteem so that people get that 5 minutes. So, I went to a club last year with a friend, and a woman I fancied was kind of cruising me. It was too loud to hear much, but anyway, she bought me a drink. We had kind of shouted half conversations above the noise of the band into each other's ear for a while, and then I was thinking, you know, I really need to go to the loo because my bladder not always being as cooperative as it once was. Anyway, I indicate to the woman that I'm going to the toilet and I'll be back soon. My friend and 2 bouncers carry me down this makeshift wooden ramp onto the pavement because apparently the accessible toilet is 200 metres away in another crowded bar down the road. So I get in there and people are snorting, fucking, applying makeup or doing whatever else they do in the in the accessible toilet. But eventually I get in. 2 minutes, all done, and we go out and head back up to the other bar. Total time this has taken is about 25 minutes, and my self-esteem has taken a bit of a dive, really. We get back in the bar, and the dyke I fancied is kind of totally tuned out and barely acknowledges me this time. So, within that, here's a question. I know that happens, you know, women change their minds, get bored, etc. But what I don't know is the point is, at what point was it at the point that she realised that I needed so much help to get to the toilet? And I'll never really know the answer to that. And if that was the reason she changed her mind, then, you know, is she the kind of woman that I want to know anyway? Probably not, in the scheme of things. But I know that not being able to get to the loo myself is an accessibility issue that really affects my self-esteem. There's something about that fact, you know. This a tough one. The lesbian bar in my hometown, for example, is down a flight of stairs, and although people are generous with carrying my wheelchair down, brilliant. But what if I want to go there by myself? You know, hey, I can't get in there by myself. I mean, help and these kind of interpersonal things are a big issue for everybody, but it's kind of tough. Okay, so yep, this is difficult to write or talk about. If by some joyous miracle you've got beyond the first 5 minutes to where you really do want to have sex with someone, well, my body is a whole new territory. Since the onset of my health disability, and particularly post-chemical menopause, things work differently. Physiologically, neurologically, better, mostly worse, it has to be said. But not only that, it changes day to day, moment to moment. In my 20s, it was not so much about whether or not I could have sex, but how much and how hard. Well, now, it's like the goalposts of possibility have been changed. There are less options for a slow learning curve. And how do you explain how it all works, or doesn't? If I explain a lot during sex, it can be a bit of a buzzkill. It's likely to give us both chronic performance anxiety. So I have to be able to talk, negotiate in detail. Yep, specifics. What hurts, what doesn't, what works, what less so these days. Well, I'm known for a talker, a storyteller, but sex specifics. The up down a bit, faster, slower, don't stop waltz of sex. It's difficult. I'm a shy butch, for fuck's sake. No one taught me this. If my self-esteem is good, I'm likely to be all over it. No problem. Less problem. But if it's not, well, yeah, it's tough. Really. So, here we go. This has been a snapshot of my life. When I was writing it, I tried to separate it out into sections, but actually it all interacts. There is a key place of trying to express the daily Butch losses of a dyke who, having spent a life of physicality, can no longer do loads and loads of stuff. There is the self-esteem losses, like the way I interact with other people and how other people see me. There's the losses associated with how I get around in the physical world. There's the future losses of how things will be and how they won't be. As a lovely Canadian dyke friend of mine, 20 years my senior, said to me, well, honey, you just got to learn to let things go. And hey, I'm working on it. Thank you.